Hello, folks out there in YouTube land. I know y'all are watching these games, checking them out and whatnot. Let's see, we got a whole bunch of folks in here already. I don't know how many yet, but I see a bunch of my regulars. Let's see who we got in here. There's Slim. How you doing, Slim? Who else? We got Dr. T in here, I see. Let's see, got a whole bunch. Anyway, I know y'all are watching this game between Texas A&M and Missouri. It's almost over. They got somebody hurt with 30 seconds left in a game. They're up 34 points. That's always fun. God, that's aggravating. That's unfortunate. But, yeah, they're just killing them. It's terrible. Missouri is not for real this year, and for many, many reasons. They barely beat Boston College. No, that's number one. They barely beat Vanderbilt in overtime, if you'll remember that. So it's pretty obvious to me Mizzou's not for real. And they got a bunch of ball games left that are going to be tricky for them. They got to play Auburn. They got to play Bama. That's a loss. Probably both of those, unless Auburn does their typical turn it over 97 times. Then they got to play Oklahoma, South Carolina, that's showing life, and Arkansas. So, yeah, I don't see Mizzou making the playoffs. I think this pretty much finished. And I wasn't terribly concerned about it because they looked so bad against BC and Vandy. So that kind of takes care of that. Let's see who all we got in here. See what y'all are saying. Yeah, poor Drinkowich. That's a shame. He stands on business, by the way. In case y'all didn't know, he's not standing on business today, though. I think Texas A&M is. It's like a lot of their crowd's already left. So, yeah, 41-7, 25 seconds left. I don't know. I guess they might let them score just for fun. Let's see. Now, they don't want them to score. So that's pretty interesting. Let's see what's going on in these other college games. Let me present this here. We'll share the screen. See what's going on. Okay, yeah. 41-7. And SMU is beating Louisville 34-27. That's pretty interesting. That could affect playoff. Louisville is one of those teams that could sneak in there. What's the deal with SMU? They're trying to act like they can play. And then let's see, Penn State is beating up on that pitiful UCLA team. So not too interested in that. But we've got a bunch of good games coming up. I'm very interested in this one right here, this Ole Miss, South Carolina at 3:30. That one interests me a ton. I did a show yesterday on that. I call that the Ethics Bowl. two most ethical coaches out there. They're having a bowl game to see who's the best. I hope not. They're the only team that I can remember that got the death penalty. Oh, yeah, boy. I wish we were playing South Carolina. I can't get enough of South Carolina. I want to play them every year for the rest of our natural-born lives. No, he definitely didn't stand on business. Not at all. Have you noticed every one of our ball games is at 7 or 7:30? And I'm going to have to show you why that is.
Well, you just never know when another beast might come down out of the forest. You understand, don't you, Thumbaloo? This is what we call the deadly game. I'm in it for keeps.
Yep. That's why we're playing at 7 and 7:30 all the time, because we're kind of a big deal right now. Now, Texas A&M, I'll tell you what, they're going to be 5-1 after this game, and they've got LSU, South Carolina, Auburn, and, of course, the big game, Texas. Texas A&M could sneak into this playoff. They absolutely could. I knew that Mike Elko hiring was going to be good, but I didn't expect him to pull it off in the first year, and he may not. But Connor Wagman looked really good. I mean, he looked really good. Let's see. Let's take a look at their numbers, and then we're going to talk about the Vols and Arkansas coming up. But let's see here. Yeah, let me pull that up. Let's see. No, Mizzu. Let's take a look at these stats. I want to take a look at the box score here. Yeah, Brady Cook had a terrible game. Look at that, 13 for 31. Connor Wagman, man, Wagman was terrific. 18 for 22, 276. That's fantastic. Moss was, 12 for 138 with a 75-yarder. And I got to say this about that game. Missouri got some bad breaks in that first quarter, really bad breaks. The one that was unreal was the pass interference. The Texas A&M guy clearly clearly interfered with the receiver on a fourth down and kind of changed the complexion of the game in the first quarter. And then also Missouri had a 75-yard pass play called back because one guy was barely, I mean, it looked like he was at 5 yards to me. Maybe it was 5 yards and a foot. But they did do that. But the rest of the game, Texas A&M just beat the crap out of them. So that might have had played a role in the momentum's such a big deal in college football, but they still got throttled. One or two plays. When you get beat by as many as they did, by 31? Did they kick a field goal? Why did you kick a field goal? Oh, my God. You got to be kidding me, Frank. They literally kicked. He's standing on business, folks. That's what the man does. Good grief. Yeah, they're not what they were last year. And part of that too is they don't have that running back, Cody Schrader, I believe was his name. That's part, and they also lost their defensive coordinator. Don't forget that. The LSU picked him up, and I don't know if that was over money or whether it was he wanted to go home or something, but that was a huge loss. Roadhouse. I can put a little Roadhouse on this.
Roadhouse.
No, everybody likes Roadhouse. Ugh. So we got the big game of South Carolina versus Ole Miss. That's the one that interests me the most. We also have Auburn versus Georgia. I'm going to tell you this much. Auburn is a much better team than their 2-3 record. They have pissed away so many games because of stupid turnovers when they have beaten the team they're playing. And don't be shocked if they give Georgia a game for at least a half, because they've got the athletes to play with Georgia. It's just whether or not their quarterback can, he plays good for a while and then he just, I don't know, he has a brain fart or something. Yeah, everybody's enjoying Eli standing on business. Everybody. I mean, everybody. Let's see. That's a line that will never go stale, and I'll make sure of it. Let me assure you. He'll never live that down. We'll see. We'll see how they play. You folks know how I stand on that. I'm pretty well convinced, but I can't prove it. But can anybody explain to me why their athletic director and their head of recruiting and their NIL liaison got fired and then the athletic director immediately resigned? And it's right in the middle of the Michigan crap. Y'all think that's a coincidence? And we haven't heard a single report out of South Carolina as to why the guy was fired. We just know it was NCAA irregularities and things like that. So it must be bad. Let's see. And Texas A&M, they got to play Texas at the end of the year. That I swear, I think the Aggies have a legitimate chance of getting in the playoff. I could see them getting in at 10-2 because Ole Miss might take the tank right now. It's really hard to say because you've got Lane Kiffin, who is flirting hard with Florida. Look, they're dating. Florida and Lane Kiffin are dating, okay? Even though he's married to Ole Miss, he's seeing Florida on the side. I don't think there's any question. He refuses to shut it down in any way, and he's texting his flame. He's texting Florida heart emojis. You think Ole Miss appreciates that? Try that with your spouse. See how well that goes over. So he's dating Florida behind it's not even behind Ole Miss's back. It's right in front of him. And if he loses this game, Florida's going to go full court press to try to get him, because all they're doing is waiting for UCF or Tennessee to beat Florida, and they're going to punt Billy Napier, especially if Lane loses today against South Carolina. And they got to play at South Carolina in Williams-Brice, Billy Joe Tom Bob Parker Stadium. So that game could get squirrely real quick. It also it depends on whether Lenoris Sellers plays or not. You know, he's had that ankle. So we'll see. Didn't he have a week off last week? So maybe he's getting better. And they also got Sanders, who's been hurt. So that's problematic as well. We've got, of course, our big game, Arkansas versus Tennessee, coming up. The key, oh, crap. This happens. Let me get back on. This happens. I got creaked out by my internet. I lost all my stuff, but it is what it is. Sometimes this happens. It's very busy in Pigeon Forge right now. I mean, there are so many people up here, and they've got those cars with the tires that are turned like this. There's a billion of them up here. There's literally 1 billion of these cars, and their tires are like this so they can drift, which I guess they drift 1 minute out of the year, but they've got to have the tires to prove it. And it's crazy up here right now, and it's loud. Gosh, it was like 3 a.m. last night, and I could hear them out there revving up their engines. But that's affecting the internet some, so I might pop out. And if I do, I have to back out for a second and then come back in. It is what it is. But talking about Tennessee, the key to stopping Arkansas is this Talon Green guy. And if you've watched him, he's got 1,200 yards passing. He's got 5 touchdowns passing, but he's also got 5 interceptions. He's also fumbled the ball like 4 times. So this is a guy that if you put pressure on him, he'll screw up. Now, he's super fast, very elusive. He's like 6'5", I think, 230, and fast as lightning. He can outrun the defenders. He's that quick. So he's a dangerous dude. You want to keep him in the pocket as much as you can because he throws at 54%. So no, I wasn't affected by the hurricane here. Chilmont is, where is Chilmont? He's going to a birthday party for his daughter. He'll be watching the game, though. He might be on afterwards. Yeah, thank you, Stingray. Dang it. There we go. Thank you, Stingray. Thank you, Moonshine. I appreciate that. But, yeah, Talon Green is kind of the key. And he's got 330 yards rushing, but realize he's had 12 sacks against him, too. So that's deducted from his rushing. He's almost the leading rusher if you took those sacks away. They've got a really good running back in Jackson. He is 6'2", 230 pounds. He's a hoss. You better gang tackle this guy. He's a big dog. And he's averaging 6 yards a carry, a little over 6 yards. So those are the 2 guys that you've got to stop. Arkansas is rated 4th total offense in the SEC, so they've got a pretty good offense. They can move the ball. And they're 9th total in defense. So they've got a okay defense. It's not fantastic. It's decent. They've got a guy back there that's had 3 interceptions. But Tennessee is 1st in offense, total offense, and 1st in total defense, which I know we've only played 4 games, and 2 of those games were against very easy teams. But, hey, it's great to be 1st in anything in the SEC, much less both. So we'll see how it plays out. Mike Elko, yeah, Mike Elko might be a really good hire. I swear. I thought that was a great hire personally. Now, the 7:30 game, like I said, that's going to be the key. I don't know. Arkansas, you see, we got our tackles back. So if I'm Arkansas, if that wasn't the case, I would be sending everybody from the edge, and I would try to disrupt Nico as much as I can. But if we've got both our tackles, that's going to be real difficult. Arkansas has their hands full. What they need is some good luck in the first quarter. They need to get to a lead and hope the momentum and the crowd really helps them. Because if they don't, if Tennessee jumps out to a lead, it could get ugly quick just because, it looks like Tennessee's going to be full force at offense. and you'll probably see them scoring quite a bit because they'll be able to probably run the ball pretty well against Arkansas decently anyway. And if Nico has time, you can't give Nico time. You just can't. He throws the ball too beautifully, and he's got those wide receivers out there that are fast with great hands. You notice how the wide receivers' hands got real good this year, and they struggled last year for some reason. A catchable ball is very important. Hendon Hooker threw a very catchable ball. So does Nico Iamaleava. Throws a very catchable ball. Boy, everybody, I tell you, he's never going to live down the standing on business. He'll never live it down. Georgia. Yeah, we'll see about Georgia. But that's really the two keys to the game. Arkansas has got their hands full. They really do. This is going to be super tough for Sam Pittman. And see, he's kind of on the hot seat anyway. He went into this year on the hot seat. Bobby Petrino he'll drop some good plays. And I think Pittman's allowing him to be the offensive coordinator, where Jimbo Fisher last year for Texas A&M, I don't think Bobby Petrino was there for window dressing. He was there to make the donors happy for a year. I don't think he got to call any of his plays the way he wanted to. So it is what it is. Let's see what's going on with our college game scores here. Let me pull that up. We'll see exactly where we're at. College game scores. All right. SMU final. They beat Louisville. That's helpful to the Vols, and so is this Missouri loss. Both of those are helpful to the Vols. Penn State, they beat that lowly team. So two of the teams that we needed to get beat were beaten. That's Missouri and Louisville. Those are two teams that could have kind of snuck in there and taken a spot. There's still some other teams that you got to watch out for, but, you want to get in the playoff. That's super important. Thank you, James. I appreciate that. You didn't say anything, but just a tip. I appreciate it, though. But, yeah, obviously the goal is to get in the playoff, and you want to get as high ranked as you can because, look, you can either if you win the SEC, you get a bye, which is huge. But even if you finish 5 through 8, remember, home field advantage is monstrous. If you finish 5th, that's really not a bad place to be because you're going to play number 12 at home. So it's no different than the 64 team or 68 team playoff in basketball. You want to get as high as you can because you play a weaker opponent, and having home field advantage in that first game is monstrous. Good gosh, it's going to be something else. Yeah, Texas A&M, man. I've seen a lot of you Aggies in here. Honestly, y'all are better than I expected quicker, and it's because you got so much talent, and now you've got a good coach. Jimbo had his ship had sailed. He was stubborn. He wouldn't listen to reason. It was all his way, the highway. Had a very complicated offense that was super difficult for his players to understand. And, you saw his notebooks. My God. It looked like he looked like a professor coming in to teach physics. It's ridiculous. Let's see. Hopefully Auburn pulls him out. Yeah, that would be. I'm going to tell you something about Auburn, folks. They're going to beat somebody this year. They're going to beat somebody they're not supposed to. I can just feel it. They're too good in the trenches. Their defense is solid. They've got some ballers out there. They just need Peyton Thorne to have a career game against somebody, and they'll win. And I think they could beat virtually anybody in the country if things went their way. Let's see. Oh, I'm gonna pull up a couple of things too that I haven't shown yet. Let's see. Let me stop that screen. But yeah, we've got this is a big game at 7:30. Then we got Florida, which I'm super pumped about that. That's going to be beautiful. Couldn't be more pumped. But yeah, at 7:30, I think it's going to be a lot like.
Well, I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry.
Why, Johnny Ringo, you look like somebody just walked over your grave.
That scene will always be one of my absolute favorites. God, that was great. Doc Holliday and Johnny Ringo. It doesn't get any better than that. That's what it's going to be like at 7:30 It's going to feel a lot like that. And it's going to be like that one. I can't wait for the Texas A&M Texas game. Oh my gosh. And on top of it, Texas took Texas A&M's baseball coach and they fired their coach the final day of the College World Series that Texas A&M was playing us Vols, and did it on that day to try to sow derision in their with their team. And it was so obvious what they were doing. I mean, this Texas A&M thing, that's like that's a commandment that you shouldn't break. That's an SEC commandment. You don't take another SEC team's head coach at a major sport. You just don't do it. And Texas went in there and just plucked Texas A&M's baseball coach and did it in the worst possible time they could do it. And it was clearly on purpose. And the athletic director was sitting in the cemetery in a car waiting for Schlossnagle to show up, which is apropos. Oh, man, that is just perfect for how Texas A&M feels about Texas. And let me show y'all something. I made something for that I know the Texas A&M people are going to appreciate. It's take me a second here. Let's see where it is. There it is right there. Yeah, this is Texas.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Really?
Texas A&M fans, I know that's what you think of Texas, because they are absolutely the most overconfident team. Y'all need to take them out. You need to beat them at the end of the year. You just do. And, of course, our guy, I have to kind of redo this. Oh, wait just a minute. Yeah, I think our coach, I think we're going to have him a good long time. There's no way we're letting him go anywhere.
Damn it, Bobby, this just ain't right. You deserve better than this.
Yeah, our Bobby Hill's not going anywhere, folks. I'll just go ahead and tell you, he's not going anywhere. Somebody was like, oh, Florida's going to hire him. It's like, there is no way. We wouldn't nobody's touching Bobby Hill. You can just forget that crap. Auburn, no, I'm telling you, they're going to beat somebody. You mark my words. Auburn's going to beat somebody this year. They're going to beat a Georgia. They're going to beat an Alabama. They had Georgia and Alabama beat last year. And they're better this year. It's just they're bad luck schleprock. They are. They're jinxed. I've never seen a more jinxed team in my life. Damn it, Bobby. Anyway, all right. Well, I'm going to go watch this ball game. So I appreciate y'all popping in here. Almost 300 people. That's great. And I'm going to do I'll do a little pre-show most likely. If I do, I'll throw it out there, about the Arkansas game. And then I'll do a post game, whether we win or lose. And I feel like we'll probably win. I'll do a post game as well. But anyway, I thank y'all for popping in here. And I'm looking forward to this. I'll probably do a post-mortem on the Ole Miss South Carolina game as well, which could be part of my pre-show for UT against Arkansas. But anyway, thanks for popping in, and thanks for the $2 super chat, too, to the gentleman that did that for me. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay, which will be later today.